Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. Very happy to welcome Stephanie Curd and Natalie. Is this Shalafo?
Shalafo, yeah.
Shalafo, okay. And they are co founders and partners of Immersive Spirit. And from what I read, it's spiritual coaching, intuitive mediumship, hauntings, and energy healings. And, well,
You got
let's
it.
let's kick this off right. We'll start with Stephanie. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oof. Well, I'm in my mid 50s. And I guess if we're just talking about the intuitive side of things, it's like as a kid, my grandfather visit me when I was 5, and it was from his funeral. I mean, there's a whole story behind that, but that's really what started the whole ghost and spirit part for me. Um, But a little bit, I guess, about me. I'm a dog nut, and my partner, he and I ride motorcycles. We go to rallies. We're Indian people now these days, so we've switched from Harley Davidson. Still love Harleys, but we're Indian people. I live up in Northwest Montana.
Mm.
Grateful that I get to come to Colorado and spend time with my sister while we're working on the immersive spirit and doing some business stuff. Um, Grew up in Colorado, did we do our time in the corporate world. And we really, this last year or so, we're like, why are we working for somebody else all the time? This is kind of a drag. We're ready to go and do our own thing and take it up a notch. And that's where immersive spirit came from, is it's like, okay, we're in our 50s. Let's go play. Let's go do what we want to do and what we know we love. And that's where we are today.
Yeah. And Natalie.
So, hi everybody, Natalie Shalafo. So I actually, my sister here gave a lot of our details, but I live in Colorado, single mom, 2 boys, developed into the spiritual community. And of course, we have done the corporate thing, but kind of opening up and trying to help others and drag those folks along with us.
And I noticed that you have energy healing down here,
Mhm.
which I'm all into alternative medicine. I've dealt with not only physical but mental pains and things like that. And some of the medications that they give you, they either don't work or they make things worse. And so, do you help with that kind of thing, or are we talking building up your energy as far as the paranormal goes?
It's more towards the secondary, but it's really, so for me, it's Reiki, right? I'm a Reiki master, and with the energy healing, so it's really interesting, Kyle, because a lot of the things that happen when our bodies are directly aligned with our energy, right?
Mhm.
So your chakras, thinking about that. And when one part of you is unbalanced, emotionally, psychologically, it impacts everything else in your body. So the Reiki energy healing is really around, okay, so I feel, a block here, and really helping somebody to understand what is that, working with them on unblocking that area, and then aligning them with maybe the tools they need, and tools meaning more of the metaphysical, right? Maybe it's essential oils, maybe it's crystals, maybe it's rub some dirt on it because you need to go stand in the grass and get your feet like there. But it's whatever it works for that person to keep them healed. Because if we're centered inside, it's amazing what that does for all of our body, as you know, physically, to then require less Advil, less drugs, less of the pharmaceutical stuff that then you get into a spinning cycle of you need more, 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 when ultimately it's, hey, have you checked your solar plexus, which is the core of your body, and make sure you're standing up straight? And so that's really what we do for your energy healing.
And you do a form of life coaching?
We do. Do you want to talk about the coaching part?
So the coaching part is really about you being able to connect with yourself and being able to open up spiritually. So it may not be, how do you get your next great gig, or it's more about identifying what your purpose really is and where you want to go. So opening up for you to be able to trust and hear yourself, um, rather than, coaching you into how to write a resume.
Right.
Right, right.
Yes. different kind of life coaching, right? We're focused on your entire existence in life, not just, oh, I need you to help, like she said, build me the perfect resume and I'm here to get my perfect job. And what about my love life? And it's like, well, are you balanced? Or how's your intuition working for you? Are you trusting your gut, right? That instinct that we all have, that's where our coaching comes in.
Right.
Are y'all empaths?
Yes. She's much stronger at the empath than I am.
It's
Yeah,
got to be difficult to walk into a room of a bunch of people, right?
it really is actually. I don't go around crowds much because you walk in and of course you pick up everything that's going on to the point where I may feel ill.
Yes.
So yeah,
Wow.
absolutely true. I stay away from crowds.
It's funny doing all of this. My partner has realized that he's like, oh, I could have told you that. He goes, I didn't know a name for it, but oh yeah, because we'll go into, got my favorite watering hole where I live in Northwest Montana. And he'll hang for a certain amount of time. He's like, peace out, babe. Gotta go. Too much. Too much, and he's he's like, enjoy. Let me know if you need a ride. I'll be back. But I'm not gonna hang around here because it's just overwhelming. And they share that trait so that it's one of those things that we know as a family. It's like, okay, we need to go places where we know we can sit and talk. Where we know that it's going to be a positive vibe on a Thursday or Friday or whatever it might be, because you go someplace where people are just angry, political rallies, yeah, religious events, things where there's, or protesting, things like that, where there's so much mixed emotion. It's too much. It's just too much. It's overwhelming.
Are you kind of like a lie detector too?
I'm trying to focus a little more on that, but
Two teenage boys.
yeah. So yeah, I try to get a grip, but people who know me well know that I experience energy fairly easily. So a lot of times they'll be kind of shut down around me because they don't want to share too much.
Right.
Because I'll look at them and be like, so what's going on with? And they're like, shh, I don't want to talk about it.
Get out of my head, lady.
Which it's not. It's more about their energy.
Right. It's like I'm not in your head. You just are putting off some serious vibes.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate being friends with a psychic. I'm like, that's not even the psychic.
Right. That's just paying attention to you. You're being nutty. Yeah.
I had one. She was from television, and she's very, very powerful. And anyway, I asked her, so does it make it difficult to date when people know that you have these abilities and they can't hide anything from you? It's like, yeah, it does kind of make it difficult.
Yeah,
More about their uncomfort, I think, than ours.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I never, without someone's permission, would never like try to figure anything out. They would know if I was trying to read their energy.
Hmm. Yeah, never without permission from somebody else. I mean, can you pick up on folks'
Yeah,
energy and just their nervousness or whatever, or that, again, something everyone has, right? That intuition, your gut, you feel, oh, trust your gut. Yeah. Well, that's everyone, right? So I mean, that's the biggest thing that we're doing. It's just we trust it a lot more than a lot of other people. Um,
but you ignore their grandma. They come in the room. You're
right.
like, no, we're not. We're not.
We're
Talking
not
to
doing that
today.
today.
Yeah, it's got to be weird when you go to a party and people find out what you do, and then they start coming and asking you, "Hey, can you contact so and so for me?" It's like, look,
Uh-huh.
I'm not a dog, or I don't work on command here. And
Right.
besides, I mean, you got to have time off anyway, right? That's got to really wear on you.
For sure. Well, and especially because they'll approach you on the sly. Like,
Hmm.
I don't want anybody else to know I'm talking to you about this, but could
Right.
you? And it's like, not right now.
Please don't tell anybody I'm asking you, but yeah, right. I had one. It's funny that you say that, Kyle. Last Saturday, I took her oldest son. He turned 18, and we went and got tattoos. I mean, I have several, and I'd promised it to him years ago. Anyway, we're there, and it's his turn, and I did like our company logo to just kind of round out, right, what
Hmm.
I'd done on the rest of my wrist. Guy at the front desk, younger kid, I'd say early 20s, he asks me, oh, what's it stand for? I said, oh, it's our business. And I get into this conversation anyway. He goes, oh my gosh, did you bring your cards with you? My tarot cards. And I'm like,
No.
no. I came to hang with my nephew and get tats. We're not hanging out and
Doing reading.
doing readings today. So I'm like, here's my card. How about we schedule something? But yes,
Kid, though.
he was a sweetheart. And I appreciated his enthusiasm and the fact that he's like right there in front of the whole world going, can you do my cards? Did you bring them with you? No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm curious about the intuitive mediumship. You help teach and bring people's abilities to, I guess, a little further on, right?
We do. So our whole theory behind, well, it's not even a theory. We truly believe everybody's intuitive.
Right.
And so helping others maybe get unstuck or help them identify that it is truly for everybody. And we were born and blessed with this as one of our six senses. Just like you can taste, I can taste. I don't have a special ability to taste. So really highlighting that for folks and kind of explaining a different way to look at it, because it's all about perception. And once you have the perception that you could do it, anything is really possible.
Mhm.
When I was growing up, remember I would hear voices in my ear. And to me, I just thought, well, maybe it's just my brain playing tricks on me. I thought it was kind of cool that your brain works that way where it sounds like somebody's talking to you. And it happened I mean, not all the time, but it happened frequently during the years. And then at one point it got to where I thought I was going crazy. I actually checked myself into a hospital because I was hearing these voices and they weren't telling me anything nice.
Oh,
And I didn't know about all this stuff. I mean, I heard about psychics and that kind of thing, but I didn't know that there was different abilities that people have. And later on, I made friends with a lady who works on our team. She is a psychic medium, and she was telling me that I had abilities. I've never really pursued it. It just wasn't my thing. But it could freak somebody out if you don't know what's going on. I said I checked myself into a hospital because thought I was going nuts.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And when you're going into a situation, just recently I was with a friend having kind of an emotional things happen in their life. And so we were talking to somebody at a hospital and all of those questions, like, do you hear things? Do you see things other people don't? And they're looking at me like, how should I answer this? Because they also have abilities. And I was like, you tell them no, because they're looking for that.
there's a difference between,
Psychosis.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a difference between a schizophrenia where you're switching personalities or you have, like you said, something in your head telling you really
Your
horrible
ability.
things,
Yeah.
than grandma coming and popping in, or your imaginary friend, which could be a spirit guide, right? We had them when we're little. Everybody talks to their imaginary friends and their little buddy, and all kids, it's really cute. But when they're doing it when they're 15, it's not cute. And it's like, well, how do you know that that's not their guardian angel, their spirit guide, their whoever it might be that's just hanging out, giving them guidance and they're acknowledging?
And for some people, they don't want to do that.
No.
And it is scary and it's not something that they want to be a part of. So there's also ways to step back and disconnect
And block that.
from that reality for
Mhm.
them.
Have you ever helped law enforcement solve cases or anything like that, or had any interest in it?
Not yet.
I think that would be an interesting avenue, but we haven't worked with anybody at this point.
Not directly. We did find that one article though. What was that one we were working on? We ended up down a rabbit hole with, because our father was in law enforcement. He retired state and ended up working for another I mean, he was in law enforcement. He still kind of is to some degree. But he also is a Tai Chi instructor in his retired years. So, he's gotten pretty cool.
I think it would be very interesting though to
Yeah.
be able to help people who are asking for it and wanting it. I don't think that law enforcement is pretty analytical. Our
Yeah.
dad was always pretty analytical.
Oh, yeah.
So just get them to stretch into this kind of an arena I think it would be an interesting
Mhm.
opportunity. I have seen other psychics that do that.
And I think the fascinating part, like that article we found, was just it. It would be fun if we could figure out how do we add value. Because to Natalie's point, it's all about how do we help. If we can come across something and be like, well, take it or leave it, but here's what we're getting from this. And if it's helpful, yay. Because it would be amazing to just be helpful in that capacity.
Well, and psychics are not litigatable. Like
That's true.
if we give them something and they find something, they're like, well, how'd you find that? Oh, psychic Natalie told me. I don't think that can go
It
in.
doesn't go into the court records very well. They're like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, I know.
Right. Then there's gonna be somebody who says, are you a little more involved in this than you're saying? Because
Right?
Would
you know
that?
details you shouldn't know.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to offer myself up as the murderer.
No.
So tell me how do you go about helping other folks? Because I know everybody has different ways of approaching things, but what's your way of doing it?
So so we help them in a lot of different avenues. So if you're going to be like developing your intuition,
Mhm.
so it's more about stopping, sitting, and listening to yourself and helping people identify what those blockers truly are. So it's not necessarily a blocker to listening to your intuition. It's a blocker about what you believe in yourself, what you believe is real, um, what you believe people can do. So it's unlocking those keys or unlocking those doors with keys for folks, giving them the key to say anything is possible. Um, Everybody has their own way of interpreting things that they see in their environment. Your environment gives you a lot of cues, and really kind of clearing all of those thoughts that you've been told you can and can't do. Because, from a very young age, we're told what religion we're going to be or not religion we're going to be, and where we're going to live, and the amount of money that we're going to have. And you develop those beliefs because that's what somebody told you you're going to be. If you set your bar a little higher and say you can be anything, then you have to help people find what anything looks like. Because when somebody's talking to you and they're like, well, what's your biggest dream? Well, some people dream of owning a Corvette, but is that your biggest dream? Like, stretch beyond even that. Anything in the world.
Yeah.
Well, my dream is to live out in the country and kind of get off the grid, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
We appreciate that.
Uh-huh. We
Right.
do.
Well,
Yeah.
my biggest problem is number one, it seems like I get angry, frustrated a lot. And I feel like there's something that's contributing to that that's not really me. How would I know if it's just me or if there's an outside influence? That's because what we do as far as paranormal investigations go, that can be
Mhm.
dangerous. You never
For
know
sure.
what you're going to run across. I've had things attached to me and cause me actual physical pain.
Mhm.
But is this just me, or is there a spirit or I don't know, a bad energy around me? How would I know?
I would say, I mean, there's a couple of ways to look at it. For me, number one, like one of the first things I know we both do in the morning is really go through a grounding session. And how are we presenting ourselves? And by grounding, it's like, okay, I've completely grounded myself. I'm in touch. Nothing's going to make me break. And then putting up a big old wall of protection. But nothing negative, nothing not intended for our higher good, nothing without our permission, right? Comes through that wall. And sometimes that's a lot during the day. Maybe it's a bad meeting. Maybe you have a bad podcast, right? Somebody puts off some really bad vibes and you're feeling it. Maybe it's, like you said, a paranormal investigation. Anytime we're doing any of those, it's like we're grounding before, we're grounding, we're allowing the spirit come in to have that conversation. But after, it's like there's no attachments. You do not get to go home with us. You don't get to come anywhere in our space, and it's not allowing that. If it gets beyond that, and you're grounded and you know that that's not it, then it becomes a center thing and saying, okay, where am I off? Where am I off internally? And that goes into more of the Reiki stuff, right? Or any other healing, where you sit and it's a self-examination. Is it shadow work you need to do? Meaning a reflection in the mirror of, okay, one of the tricks I love to use for shadow work, for example, is your very best friend, your partner, your spouse. Write down what irritates you the most about them. Now, after you've written that down, take a look at it and reflect on that and recognize if you do that. Is that you? And then it becomes something where you're just self-developing in yourself and you get rid of some of that anger. So it's really twofold, right? It's like you have to examine first, is it something attacking you from the outside? If it is, then how do you address that, right? That is a lot of grounding. It could be crystal protection. It could be herbs. It could be a lot of different things. It could be working with someone like, I mean, I know I've cleared attachments. We've cleared spirits from people's property, where if they're attached to somebody, it's like, okay, how do we help them cross so that they're not on you and that they move and go, or at least get off of you if they're not ready to cross.
And ultimately at the end point, it's trusting our community too.
Absolutely.
Because lots of times you can't look in the mirror and get all of these things solved. If you're really feeling like something is with you, it's going to a different healer in the community that can see it from a different perspective.
Mhm.
And really, we all trust each other that we are all working for the highest good. We
Yeah.
want to work for the dead and make sure they get home. We want to work for the living and make sure they're not afraid. So
Yes.
in that balance, we go to somebody and say, hey, I think something's going on, and we get that help ourselves.
It's an
Yeah.
awesome point because it's all about sharing.
Mhm.
And it's there can't, if there's selfishness or you have somebody who says, I know the answers, I know them all. I am
I'm
the
smarter
only
than
person
you,
you
right?
should, yeah, I'm smarter than you. I have a gift. Walk away, right? Run
Mhm.
away. Save your dough. I mean, go see somebody else who's really going to be like, okay, I'm not feeling it, but I know somebody who will, or who's better assisted for A, B, or C, right? We're going to share.
Have you ever run across something that's kind of giving you a run for your money?
Yes. Especially when it involves family. So when something does come home with you and it's unintended and you've done all of that grounding and clearing that energy away from you and protecting your house and your home. And I have folks that live, my kids live with me. When you're out on these paranormal things and something comes home with you and you see the shadow running across your wall, that shadow wasn't there earlier. So again, it's scary. And when you're scared, it's hard to take care of your own home. So you have to back up and you have to get that help, that somebody sees it from a different perspective, because at that point I'm not seeing it as just an energy maybe from the other side. Maybe they don't have good intentions, or maybe they just liked me because I was empathic with them, So getting help and getting someone in the house that will help us get that situation cleared.
Yeah.
Everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say I know everyone is different and you connect with people differently. Like there's certain psychics that I feel comfortable with, and then there's some that I'm like, just. I mean, I hate to name names, but have you ever met Chip Coffee?
Yes.
I mean,
I,
not met personally, but yes, we know Chip Coffee. Yeah.
yeah, I've actually met him in person, and he just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I met Amy Allen, and it seemed like I just clicked real well with her.
Mhm.
And of course, the medium that works with us. But what do you think sets you apart from others? Let's say if somebody wants to maybe come to you and say, "Hey, I want to learn more. I want to get to a higher level." What would you say sets you apart from other folks?
Oh, that's a good question. So like the folks that you name, they're very much evidentiary mediums. They're the ones that are out in the world showing people the art of the possible, things that can happen. So, they're on a stage. We're not on that stage. So it's really about developing an individual and developing them to where they feel comfortable. Because, when you're running across like a Chip Coffee who is very extroverted and is very solid in his beliefs and his, what comes out of his mouth is absolutely what he believes.
And
um
arrogant.
Right. As
Sorry.
opposed to Amy, as opposed to like an Amy Allen who sits back a little bit and is also confident in the things that come out of her mouth, but has a little bit different of approach. So when someone comes to us and says, I want to be the next Amy Allen, that's an evidentiary. We're not evidentiary psychics. We're not going to sit on a stage and do a gallery of people and say, this is what's happening for you and you and you. So it's really about, I think the right people find us when they need help. I think that happens all in the spiritual realm. Their spirit guides are going to bring them to our spirit guides and be like, this is the person that can help you most in this situation. And that's really where we plug in.
And intuitive, right? Some of that is just what we bring from life experience too. We're not 25. We're not novices at life in terms of the things that we've been through, where, divorces, children, corporate jobs. We understand that, right? What a bankruptcy looks like, or what a repossession looks like when you're young. I mean, what it's like to be scared to death of just life in general. We've been there, done that. So it makes us accessible, I think, on a different level there. The other thing is we're all about teaching, right? We're not just going to hoard the information and say, okay, come back and see us another time. We're like, okay, so if you want to just set up on that and buy a package, and great, we'll see you all year long and we'll do readings, and we're happy to do that for folks. But if they say, how do I tap into this? How do I embrace this? Because it is, like we said, it's everyone's gift. Everyone has this. It's everyone's ability. Then that's where our coaching comes in, right? And say, yeah, we'll help you. I mean, one gal, much to our chagrin, we helped her with a coaching session, thinking, okay, cool, this is great. We're using our coaching sessions, and she needed one. We gave her such great homework in the very beginning. We met 6 days later. She rattled off all these things that had happened, and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys. And we're like,
That was over.
wow. Well, that's all you needed. She just needed one little push, right? That was it. And that nudge of that little bit of homework and that little bit of stretch. So that's what we want to see is go, well, kick butt. That was great. Look at her go. Are you ready to read for us? Tell us what you see,
Well,
So,
and I think out of everything, our biggest thing is practice.
Yeah.
You have to be able to really practice. Practice isn't just sitting down and being like, okay, I'm open, here we go. It is talking to other people. It is trying to read. It is trying, whatever you're trying to achieve. You have to practice, because whatever you practice at is what you get good at. Whether that's something in our tangible world of, like corporate jobs, or if it's something maybe a little less tangible and more soul creative.
Folks want to get a hold of you and they want to know if you are the right fit, do you have like an upfront fee, or do you consult with them for free in the beginning? How's this work?
Oh, that's a really good one. I hadn't thought about that for the website, but they can always contact us, right? Our website is Immersive Spirit, which is immersivespirit.com. And there's a little thing that says let's connect on the bottom of the website.
Mhm.
Feel free, if they're, especially if it's a guest here, feel free to just say, hey, I heard you on Vibe, and I want to talk about this or this. Yeah, we're happy to set up a half-hour call and have a conversation, or whatever that might be. But it brings up a valid point that I could probably add something to our website where it's like little, 15-minute consultation to say, okay, your voice doesn't drive me crazy. We can talk, maybe.
Right.
Because
Or
it
really
could be as simple as that.
where
they're
they
like,
want to go.
yeah.
Right. Because a lot of time people, and us included, we get lost in life and it's like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know, but could this person help me?
Right.
So it's creating those branches and allowing people who are lost, who need help, who think they might need help, or who just want to talk.
Even the best life coaches have life coaches.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
We have
And
lots of mentors and teachers.
yes, we do. And that's the thing. You never, if you say you're the best, again, run away. And if you're not continually learning, or they're not telling you, hey, I took this new class, or I read this new book, or I heard this new podcast, or I caught this new show, or whatever it is, I mean, you gotta keep growing. If you just assume you're the best and sit on your laurels, then you get what you pay for, folks. I mean, you absolutely do.
And what all social media are you on?
We are on, of course, Facebook, at immersivespirit.com. We have a page there. We're on Instagram. It's immersive_spirit. We are on YouTube. YouTube, we're a work in progress, but the channel is at Immersive Spirit. And Pinterest at Immersive Spirit. I think that's all of our socials.
It is, and we just got on YouTube and we decided that we'll start putting some of our hauntings or things that we do so people can see in action like how that's gonna work. So we have postings coming.
Yes.
They're just not up yet. We're going through old content that we have captured, and it's like, how do we put this together? So
Yeah.
we're growing for sure.
And we have one this next weekend. So we're headed down to a place in Cripple Creek, Colorado. So more on that, but we are pretty excited about that one.
Yeah.
We like
Wow.
Cripple Creek. There's always good stuff down there.
Oh, you're gonna have to fill me in after you get done.
Oh yeah,
For
happy
sure.
to.
Well, maybe we can come back and even do a show about that.
Oh, we'd love to. Love
Awesome.
to.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I'm gonna put all your links in the description just to make it easier for folks to find you. But this has been awesome.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Cal, for having us. This has been a blast.
It has. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back. Please hit that subscribe button. And for my regulars, you guys are awesome because you make it possible for me to do this. And until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network